Hello Internet, I'm called Matt. Recently I've covered some heavy topics, including taking criticism in original movies. But this week I'm going to cover the equally important...
Bro, who even gives a fuck? It's 4th of July! America!
America!
I'm in love with America.
So here it is, the top 1,776 most American movies of all time.
I don't think I have time for that many.
Fine, top 10.
God bless America.
Don't worry, he does.
Number 10. Demolition Man. Sure, this movie has some awesome action. Yes, it's one of the most scarily accurate social commentaries of all time. And of course, it stars noted American Sylvester Stallone. Plus Wesley Snipes was in an Expendables movie, so that's like 10 America points to him. But even without these things, I still would have put this movie on this list for one line.
Hurting people's not a good thing. Well, sometimes it is, but not when it's a bunch of people looking for something to eat.
Has any line ever summed up America's attitudes towards violence so well?
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Fair enough. Number 9. Braveheart. Okay, I know what you're thinking. But Matt, that takes place in Scotland. But you forget, this movie is about one thing.
Freedom!
Seriously, a movie about fighting the British for your freedom? That sounds pretty damn American to me. And Scotland, if you ever want to try again, count me in.
Editor's note. I wrote this list as part of an assignment last November, when the suggestion that I might help Scotland gain independence was as asinine as anything else in this video. However, recent events have proven that this is actually extremely likely. Regardless, my offer stands, and should a Scottish independence movement arise, you have my full support.
Number 8. Air Force One. What's more American than fighting off communist terrorists? How about the President of the United States fighting off communist terrorists? Not only that, but Harrison Ford in this film is a good, honest man, which makes him better than like 91% of real presidents. And for anyone who says it's just Die Hard with the president, I say, yeah, what's it to you? Sounds like an awesome movie setup. Number 7. Independence Day. America's go-to guilty pleasure, Independence Day, may not be the best movie, but it sure as hell is American. I mean, it literally takes place on Independence Day, America's greatest holiday. And yeah, President Lone Star may not kick as much ass as President Han Solo, but he delivers what has to be the greatest speech in film history, thus finally proving that Spaceballs is better than Star Wars. Between charming Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum when we still found Jeff Goldblum amusing, this film is a whole lot of American fun. Number 6. In 1982, Sylvester Stallone released First Blood, a deep look at the psychological tortures of a man returning from the Vietnam War, and was the first film to depict the disorder known as PTSD. It was deep, subtle, and emotional. Fuck that pansy-ass nonsense, Rambo Part 2. Yes, Rambo First Blood Part 2, First Blood's confusingly titled follow-up, couldn't have less to do with the original if it were a teen beach movie. But it is American as all get out, because patriotism sells. This is the movie that made the name Rambo synonymous with action hero. It sees John Rambo recruited to rescue POWs from communist-infested jungles, single-handedly, the way Americans do. And in the end, he emerges American and victorious. He manages to take down 58 of those pinko commie bastards, as well as the hearts of every pure-blooded American. God bless you, Sly Stallone. Number 5. The Interview. The movie's so American, North Korea didn't want it shown. But nothing can stop freedom, and that film was released to the patriotic public. Frankly, I love this movie for one big reason. Mocking America's enemies has been a staple of cinema since World War II, but it seems to be a dying art. So, while they may not have put as many commies in the ground as old Sly, I salute Seth Rogen and James Franco, if only for making the mockery cool again. Number 4. Rocky IV. Once again, we see a Sly Stallone franchise go from smart to nonsensical in very little time. But like before, if you can't be smart, you can always be American. Undoubtedly the second best installment in the Rocky series, if only for how memorable it is, Rocky IV puts all-American hero Rocky against communist death machine Ivan Drago, played by future expendable Dolph Lundgren. And in the end, Rocky wins, proving America rules and communism drools. Number 3. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Frank Capra's Mr. Deeds Goes to Town will always hold a special place in my heart, and is one of my all-time favorite movies. But we're not here to talk about the best comedies of the 30s, we're talking about American movies. And Mr. Deeds doesn't have anything near as patriotic as this. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington sees patriotic expert Jefferson Smith being given a seat in the Senate. He uses it to start all types of programs to help local kids, and eventually speaks for 3 days about how much he loves America just to expose a plot by a political machine. Now there's a man who deserves a spot on this list. Worth noting, only film on the list where no one dies. Number 2. Team America World Police. Do I really need to explain why the film that gave us America Fuck Yeah deserves to be on this list? Predating The Interview by a decade, this film mocked many of America's greatest enemies, from Kim Jong-il to terrorists to Michael Moore. Action front to back and relentless satire, Team America is second to only one patriotic movie. Number 8.
Honorable mentions.
Go right ahead.
Commando. Sure, it has American levels of violence, but it never really mentions the country by name. Roadhouse. I feel like Roadhouse is more representative of the South rather than all of America. Invasion USA. This movie is all about Chuck Norris shooting communists, to the point that it kind of becomes boring. Matthew Blackheart, Monster Smasher. Has anyone besides me ever heard of this movie? Anyone?
The number 1 most American movie of all time is Red Dawn. Not that remake with the fat kid from Drake and Josh. Wait a minute. Damn. No. I'm talking about the original with America's good old boy Patrick Swayze. 'Cause what's more American than stopping a communist invasion of America with nothing but your fists and some stolen guns? This movie shows exactly what would have happened to those commie assholes if they ever so much as set foot on American soil. It's everything that makes America great. Freedom, fighting communists, Patrick Swayze, the 80s. In fact, at one point, Guinness World Records called this movie the most violent movie ever. Because I guess Guinness hasn't seen Cannibal Holocaust. Seriously, come on, this was only PG-13. The first PG-13, because America can't be restricted. That's our list. Feel free to let me know what you liked and didn't like. What's your favorite patriotic movie? Let me know. And don't just have a great 4th of July. Have a free one.
Got some delicious Ecto Cooler in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's green orange juice.